Hello everybody, welcome into the, well, I was going to say the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series, but a little something different tonight, and boy am I excited for it. It's the Blue Ridge Auto Group NOMA Gen 6 Series making its debut here tonight at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. And for anybody tuning in, we appreciate you coming out. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Here we go, let's go down trackside, get started with some of your pre-race festivities. How about your starting grid here tonight? On the pole, it's going to be John Lynch for SPINO Racing. To his outside, we'll start Kenneth Redinger, and we got a couple new teams for a lot of these guys this season. Talk more about that here in just a moment. Grant Turner will roll off third. He'll have Justin Parham to his outside in fourth. Sean Wilder starting fifth. Joey Hickox to his outside in sixth. Remember, coming off that Truck Series championship just last Saturday. DJ Madish will roll seventh. Bill Hales to his outside in eighth. It's going to be Haas Beverly back in ninth. Rounding out top 10 tonight is Zach Stevens. Jay Stinson and John Shalino are going to be making up row number 6. Just behind them in 13th is John Bell, followed by Matthew Fritz. Sam Boutwell on the inside of row 8. It's going to have Brianna Laurent to his outside in row number 8. Chase Greer rounding out the field. He will roll off 17th here tonight. Taking a look at your race info tonight. Different formats. The Blue Ridge 175. Again, NOMA Gen 6 Series. You do not see these cars much in iRacing anymore, so man, are we excited for it. But it's going to be a 70-lap race. I'm not sure why that says 140. We'll fix that later. But 65% fuel. Everyone going to have 5 sets of tires. Of course, that one fast spare if you need it. Fixed setups. There will be a, they call it the halfway point. I'm calling it a stage, but the halfway point at lap 35. We'll talk more about that when we get there. And, of course, 3 green-white checkers if we need them. So, for the first time in its inaugural season, here we go. The NOMA Gen 6 Series at Daytona International Speedway. Green flag is in the air. As they all dump onto the back straightaway for the first time here tonight, it is the duo, the 24 of Kenneth Redinger and his teammate Justin Parham making it work. Different look, not Grandstand Racing, but the 2 SPINO Racing paint schemes for the drivers that we're used to seeing on Grandstand Racing, but that outside quickly starting to fade. You see it's the 3 of Joey Hickox trying to get something going, but so far so good as everybody has had to tuck to the bottom early. And how about leading lap number 1? It is indeed going to go to Kenneth Redinger. The 13 of John Lynch, the 3rd SPINO Racing driver in the field. Man, these guys looking like they love super speedways, at least early on. But before we get any further here into the commentary of the broadcast, let's take a look at what the speeds are looking like for these guys, and kind of how these cars are going to drive around this 2.5-mile super speedway. These kind of are different, right? You can get a little bit of a tandem going with these cars, but not seeing it too much right now, and that's because John Lynch 3rd in line. Now you go up to one of his teammates here, Justin Parham. You see he's got a bit of a bubble right now between him and his teammate Kenneth Redinger as they go through turn 3 and 4. And again, a little bit of uncharted territory for me as well here. We're kind of figured it out, but he sounds like he's got pretty heavy throttle time. I think he's just managing the gap, but man, the runs that these guys get in these cars and the way that you have to manage lanes is just going to be so much different than what we're used to seeing in the Truck Series when we come to these super speedways. There you go, just about 200 miles as they race down into turn number 1. But man, I still cannot believe how quickly that outside line died out. I mean, already everybody just about single filed on the bottom. Further back, we're going to get some people trying to make something work here early. Joey Hickox, he's been consistently ducking out, trying to get some help, and it looks like he might get a couple teammates lined up with him right here. Zach Stevens in the 33. That is a new addition this season to, well, we call it Hickox Racing, but they're actually known as Venom Racing this season. And again, they've got probably the biggest team in the field. We'll go through all their guys at some point during this race, but they're trying to get the outside line working here a little bit as they're going to get a couple takers right here. A couple people like what they're seeing here. But Grant Turner, the last car in this little bit of a 4-car lead breakaway. And I say breakaway because they are starting to pull away from that second pack. These guys got to be careful. The 69 of DJ Madish on the outside. They're starting to roll a little bit here. But so far, not a whole lot of pushing. Everybody's still getting a feel for it. And 4 laps in, we talked about fuel. Keep an eye on that. It's about 65%. These cars, again, going to be different to what we're used to seeing. They should be able to go longer than the trucks. However, they're still not going to be able to make it at least to the halfway point. We'll see a pit stop before then. Jay Stinson still rolling on the outside line, third in line. Came oh so close to securing the truck championship last Saturday. Fortunately, after a little bit of a run-in between him and Justin Parham coming into turn 3, didn't work out for either driver, and instead it was his teammate in the 3, Joey Hickox, who pulled off. Well, I would say it's a big upset, but certainly wasn't Joey one of the favorites going in, but definitely not the way we expected that race to end. Good to see Sean Wilder going to make his run this season in the Gen 6 Series, and he is actually on a team, I believe right now, the only driver on that team. You see it's the Pitstall Motorsports. Just to his inside is going to be Chase Greer, your Rookie of the Year, and of course, regular season champion for the Truck Series. Another one of the Venom Racing drivers. Man, I just cannot get over how big of a team they put together for this. And I mean, it's a super speedways. You need it, right? The more cars, the better. Especially so far here tonight. It seems like if you want to get that outside line working, you have got to get a ton of cars put together. And right now, just hasn't been working. But talking a little bit more about these Gen 6 Cup cars, we keep saying how they're different, right? But everybody knows now we're in the next gen era, and when we think about Cup Series, nobody really sees these cars out on track anymore, but these things have more downforce, in my opinion at least, than the, oh man, we had one go way off right there towards the back. I'm trying to figure out exactly what this might have been John Shileno. Yeah, it was. Let's go back here, take a look. And he must have had some help here, just as I'm talking about downforce. I'm thinking maybe he got loose, or did he indeed get some help? Here we go. This is coming off of turn number 2. We'll go to the chopper view for this one. Get a better angle of it. So here you go. They come off of 2, and ooh, looks like maybe he goes up just a little bit. Back that up one more time. You see, running on his outside was the 47 of Sam Boutwell. Boutwell is going to pull a big side draft right there, but things seem okay. You see Boutwell coming down. Yeah, actually, looks to me like Boutwell comes down. Maybe the 14 comes up just a little bit, but that contact is what sends him down towards the inside wall. He's able to quickly save it, readjust, get back on track. Unfortunately, though, that will cost him the draft. So as we go back up front, it is still all Kenneth Redinger in the lead. He's been leading since we got this race going. And when you got 2 teammates behind you, it's going to be hard to really get beat. But here we go, that second lane starting to really roll now. Joey Hickox looks like he is ready to start experimenting with some pushing right here. Oh, just as I say that, blinking a little bit. Oh, man, that's got to be really scary right now if you are anybody in this outside line, especially if you are the one leading it. In this case, the 47 of Sam Boutwell. He is looking for that push, but it does not take much. Nonetheless, though, getting back to the point we made just before we had that, I would say almost wreck involving John Shileno. So these cars, especially at these super speedways, they feel extremely glued to the racetrack. So we shouldn't see too many problems with guys getting out of shape, and I think you'll see a lot of aggressive pushing when we come down to the end of the race. However, the aerodynamics also a lot different in the sense of how these cars are going to push and how you can get to someone's bumper to push, and that's what we've kind of seen early with this outside line struggle, and even the inside. Nobody has really gotten locked up like you see in the next gens of the trucks. I mean, it takes some momentum, it takes some setup, and it's going to take a lot of team coordination if you want to win this race. And I apologize here. I'm taking a look at it. I think we had the general race volume just a little bit too loud. Make sure you guys let me know how it sounds in chat. But Kenneth, oh, we got one in the wall. Oh, going to get turned around. This will be our first wreck of the night. Joey Hickox is in it. Zach Stevens slides through. Matthew Fritz also involved. Yellow flag is out. There's Sam Boutwell getting back rolling. I saw Joey Hickox get turned as he comes to a halt in the grass. Looks like he'll be able to get back rolling. He'll turn it around. Just going to throw up a little smoke there to get that car back going. I can't tell how bad, if it doesn't really look like he's got much, if any, damage from that view. But it does look like it's maybe bouncing around a little bit. Let's go back to his cockpit here. Yeah, a little hard to say here. We'll have to see. Either way, let's go back and take a look. What exactly goes wrong right here? Talked about, I saw Joey Hickox coming back down the track. So you know that we saw one get into the outside wall. I just wasn't sure exactly who it was. So here we go. Backing up. There's Zach Stevens. They've already spun. And it's going to be Sam Boutwell, the first one to go into the wall. Question's going to be, how does he get there? And you see Jay Stinson just in front of him. Ooh, does he get... Is it a bad push? Tough view. We'll have to take a different angle right here. And so if we go to the chopper cam for this one. All right, so you see right there, looks like Sam Boutwell is doing a lot of pushing to the back bumper of Jay Stinson. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. So Boutwell gets Jay really loose, and Sam knows that he's going to have to let out so that Jay saves it. That's what he does. Unfortunately, though, Joey, they're running tight. They have to make progress. Wasn't quite able to account for that checkup. Gets into the back of Sam Boutwell. Boutwell gets turned to the outside wall, and now it's disaster for Venom Racing as this collects 4 of their cars. Excuse me, 3 of them, almost 4. Jay Stinson was able to save it, and then, of course, Sam Boutwell, one of the independent drivers that got a bad end of the stick on that one. Back this up and take a couple more views. And I mean, I know I keep talking about that these cars have a lot more downforce. They do, but as we see with just about any car at these super speedways, you're going to have to be squared up. If you're not, that's where we're going to see some of these problems come in. And that was a pretty hard shot to the right front for Boutwell. And even, there you go, you see Zach Stevens flying in with just nowhere to go. And when Joey Hickok spins back out, he actually does a really good job of saving this. Everybody was able to avoid the inside wall. However, not so lucky with the outside one here as we take a ride on the static cam. And so I keep talking about the checkup, or at least involving this wreck, I certainly do. So here you go. Watch Joey as he comes off of turn number 2. You're going to see Boutwell check up, and this is full speed. Just can't quite read it in time. Maybe initially thought it was just a small checkup, but by the time he got there, just too much of a speed difference. Sends him right around as you see Zach Stevens drive through. And Matthew Fritz, I know he got spun from this, but again, another car that I don't think really sustained much, if any, damage. But nonetheless, it does put us under our first caution here of the night, of the season, and of the series here for the NOMA Gen 6 series. But it is Kenneth Redinger still out in front. Just behind him, it's Grant Turner in the 39. How about John Lynch currently in 3rd? He's got Justin Parham behind him in 4th. And Jay Stinson, after making that wicked save just before we had the caution, finds himself rounding out the top 5, up 6 total from where he started this race at. Chase Greer up 11 for the moment. Billy Hales with a good start here early. He is currently up a position from where he started, but again, this is one of the guys that on one of the smaller teams out here and not quite used to running with these guys. At least I haven't seen him in the truck series. Not sure if he does super speedway, but boy, he's getting a lot of lessons right now and a good run up to this point. Going back a little bit further, it's Haas Beverly back in 8th with John Chilino in 9th and Sean Wilder rounding out your top 10. John Bell back in 11th, DJ Madish 12th. As looks like we're going to see a couple more peel off right here. Brianna Laurent going to be the last car to stay out on track. She's having a good run here early as well. She's already up 3 positions from where she started. And one of the drivers that I believe as of right now does not have a team. I feel like that probably won't last for long, especially if she's running as good as she is at the moment. It's a pretty sick looking paint scheme she's got on that 7 machine too, the Star Wars paint scheme. I'll tell you what, we get new drivers in just about any league that we do, but when you see a new driver pick a series such as the Gen 6 cars, it tells you a little bit more about the talent level that the driver has and, just like kind of what they like to do. And a lot of these guys in here, they like the Gen 6. That's why they're in here, right? And we don't even have our full field tonight. We got probably about 7 more guys that are registered that I think we'll see a little bit more throughout the season. But, I mean, for a first race in a series that they don't run in real life anymore, but certainly fun to watch and fun to race, it's a pretty good turnout at 17 cars. And so we're going to go back green here with what's going to be 13 laps completed at the World Center of Racing. And it is still Kenneth Redinger, as we talked about, in front. So he will lead us back to green. And that outside, remember how quick that died? But this might change things a little bit here because Grant Turner kind of acting to split up. Well, maybe a little bit of the SPINO Racing teammates. You see John Lynch going to be lined up behind his teammate on the inside. So watch for those first 2 on the inside to roll here pretty well. But Justin Parham, he's not going to shy away from contact. He is going to stay right on the back bumper of Grant Turner. See if they can't hold even or maybe even get that 39 machine clear. Give him a chance to drop to the inside. As a lot of people probably saving fuel right now. Now it gets a little bit closer. So we'll see if these guys decide to keep running aggressive or maybe back it down and save just a little bit here. As you see Jay Stinson on the inside, 3rd. And further back right there in the 22 machine, Haas Beverly, good to see him back out here. We've seen him over in the truck series, and here we go. As these guys get ready to go back green, the pace truck's going to pull off. Back into the Geico restart zone we go, and back through the gears we go. Green flag back in the air at And ooh, sounded like maybe Turner or Parham might have missed a shift right there. You heard it really revving high. But I think they're going to be okay as Turner is able to hold even for the moment. On the outside of Kenneth Redinger, just behind him, the 13 of John Lynch will get a push now from Jay Stinson. The inside already lined up, but the outside now going to try to put some work in as Justin Parham is going to have to do everything he can to tandem this 39 down the Daytona super stretch. If they want to make some progress, that's exactly what he's doing. Grant Turner will get cleared for the first time tonight. The outside is rolling. Parham's going to get clear as well. Turner with a big block. Now Redinger has to check up, just barely able to let his teammate slide in line. Man, that was a close call. Grant Turner executed just about perfectly, but man, split second later, we might have saw that 39 upside down right now, but he holds on. Justin Parham able to tuck in line, so that'll put the 39 in the lead. He has 3 SPINO Racing drivers lined up behind him. The outside, though, not done just yet. Here comes the 8 of Chase Greer. He is ready to try his luck up here at the front. The 22 of Haas Beverly trying to make something happen, along with the 88 of John Bell. They're trying to come to the front, but Grant Turner going to get split up front. Now he's going to get split again, trying to make the block to the top. Parham says, I will go right back to the bottom. Redinger's going to follow. And we have a new leader down into turn 3. It's the 9 of Justin Parham. And he's going to pull both of his SPINO Racing teammates with him. That killed all the momentum that the outside had going. But how about these guys starting to dice it up, starting to get a feel for these cars? And man, they are starting to crank up the action. No 3 wide yet. We've seen everybody keep it down to 2x2 for now, but keep an eye on Grant Turner, man. You see him fishtailing a little bit there as they go down the short chute into 1. That is because he is getting all sorts of pushing right now, just about everything he can handle from the 8 of Chase Greer. But man, Chase got to be careful here. We already saw if you push these cars on the corner of the exit, that's the one area where they get really unstable. The car unloads and it doesn't work too well, but at the same time, that's right where the momentum starts. So you know why guys try to do it, but Chase Greer didn't want any more part of it. So you see right there, he is going to jump to the inside. That little bit of side draft that he pulls on the 39 just absolutely sucked him back. Grant Turner, that is. But Grant Turner now going to get some help from the 22 of Haas Beverly. They'll start trying to get the momentum back going and get back going towards the front. But Venom Racing, pair of drivers lined up just behind the SPINO Racing drivers on that inside. And if they get a run here, maybe watch for them to take it again. We got about 15 laps left until we get to that halfway point. So I don't know if it's necessarily go time just yet. As back here, ooh, looks like Brianna Laurent maybe with some trouble. And actually, I do want to confirm if you guys know in chat, if anybody's watching, if it's Brianna or Brianna. Don't want to mix it up, but looks like she has, not sure what happened here. I just saw her. I know she was running at the back of the pack last lap, but she was within draft range. All of a sudden here, it looks like she's fallen out. Let's actually go on board real quick, see if that car's got any sort of an issue. Doesn't sound like it. She may have just got caught sleeping a little bit, and unfortunately, that's going to pull her off the pack. Meanwhile, we go back up front. Here's Matthew Fritz, currently the last man in the draft. And he is just behind one of his teammates, Zach Stevens. Both of those guys involved in the last wreck. So I think they're taking a little bit of a breather right here, letting things kind of settle out. So is Joey Hickox. You actually see right up there. And so Sam Boutwell in the 47. Ooh, the 8, Chase Greer. Looks like he's going to hop off here. I think he's just wanting to go to the back. That's exactly what he'll do. As you see him pull back on track into turn number 3. And ooh, him and Sam Boutwell, they got to be careful right here. You see how quickly they're fading from this pack. You got to get lined up. Don't get in a battle back here. You got to make sure you stay in the draft if you want a chance at this thing. Good news here for Chase Greer that he's got 3 teammates behind him. Not one of those guys are going to go up and help that 47. But 4, and what's going to be all 5 of these cars, rather, they need to get lined up here. And it looks like just in front of them, they had a little bit of a scramble, and they get single file. So they'll be good to go as well. And further back, ooh, almost saw some trouble, but it looks like it's going to be Chase Greer who's actually trying to go up the track, maybe start to make some ground, as maybe he was falling back intentionally there, seeing what kind of a run he could set up. I'm curious to see what the 8 can do. Meanwhile, since we left the front, the outside started rolling. Grant Turner with some help got to the lead. Now it's Haas Beverly, John Bell. Oh, the 69 tried to pull down. Man, that was really close, not quite clear for DJ Madish. Now he does, drops back low, but he is going to jump right back to the high side. Still no 3 wide. Looks like Parham is willing to work with the 69 for now, as John Bell is going to jump to the bottom of the track in front of Haas Beverly. And all of a sudden, now it seems like the outside has started to roll again, and part of the reason for that might be this hot track temp of over 110 degrees. Remember, the hotter the track temp is, the quicker it's going to wear tires, the quicker temps are going to wear, and that outside going to be able to roll a little bit better. So we'll be coming to complete lap 20 this time, and Parham still right on the back bumper of DJ Madish. No move yet, but again, he's got a teammate lined up right behind him there in Kenneth Redinger. Curious to see if they maybe think about making a move here off of 4. I'm not sure how long they'll stick behind the 69, but up top, John Bell still rolling pretty strong. He's got a push from Joey Hickox. Zach Stevens up there as well, but we have dropped off a couple now from this lead pack. Is remember what we talked about here? I said if you were Sam Boutwell, you needed to make sure that you got back in line pretty quick. I don't think he was able to, and as a result, he has lost the pack. However, you also saw some damage on the front of his car. And you see solo speed, he's about 182 miles an hour. We go back, compare that to Brianna Laurent, and she is about 184. So I'm thinking maybe Boutwell's got a little damage. Up front, though, no lack of speed. Oh, my goodness, what a push. Well into just about 200 miles an hour into turn 3 for Justin Parham. He got a big push from his teammate, Kenneth Redinger. They went right back to the lead. As it looks like Super Skittles in chat says it is indeed Brianna, and also says the frame rate dropped. And, ooh, yeah, that's a tough break. Technical difficulties going to be the reason the 7 car is currently not with the lead pack. But all she needs is one caution, get right back in this thing. That's the same deal if you're Sam Boutwell. Really going to need a caution right here. Yeah, you actually saw some damage right there to the right side of that 47 machine. That would certainly explain that. Back up front, the 9 of Justin Parham and Redinger, they have not wanted to sit back at all. And again, I always talk about you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's exactly what these guys did right from the get-go. And that's ultimately going to pay off because, remember, the more laps that you run at the front, the more knowledge you're going to have on what you need to do at the end of this race if it comes down to blocking or making a move near the front. Meanwhile, further back, you see that outside kind of get trained up, and this is where these cars are interesting. You see it when a car jumps out right off the get-go, it really hurts the line that car jumps in front of. But then once they start to get the momentum going, if those 2 cars in the front are able to get linked up, man, they start flying straight back to the front. That might be what we see here. I thought Jay Stinson was going to stay committed to this outside a little longer, but he sees them dropping like flies behind him, so he will quickly jump right back down, maybe pick up a spot in the process. So now that'll put Sean Wilder leading the outside, and he is waiting for some help here. Looks like from the 69 of DJ Madish. The 14 on the inside who we saw almost involved in that first wreck. That's John Shileno. Maybe I shouldn't say involved in that first wreck. Was almost our first caution when some contact between him and Sam Boutwell down the Daytona Super stretch sent him towards the inside wall. He was able to save it. And here he is, still with a good run as we now have completed 23 of 70 laps here tonight. And again, pit stop's going to be close, not sure, but we know we got some time before then. And 35 going to be the halfway point. Still got to have about 12 laps until that point. So we are going to take a quick break, but we will go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us here at Daytona. Back live at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway for the Blue Ridge Auto 175 Series debut for the Blue Ridge Auto Group NOMA Gen 6 Series. Oh, that's a close call. Careful, man. Oh, my goodness. The 69 of DJ Madish almost got turned on the outside. Wow, it was a close call. Let's go back down here, tracks. I want to get a different view of this. Hold on. Take a moment and just watch this, as it was the 88 of John Bell trying to help this lane make some progress. And it was working until it wasn't. So here we go. And watch the 69 of DJ Madish. We've seen him. He's been trying to crawl his way to the front just about all night. And right here, where he almost lost it all. Watch from the spotter view. See, the 88 gets a run. And I don't think he's trying to split him here, but just gets him offset. And wow, that was really, really close. If he doesn't let off when he does, I think he turns to 69, and we see our first big one of the night. What a save by DJ Madish. We may already have a candidate for save of the season with that one, as now we see Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger maybe trying to do a little bit of controlling of the lanes here. Sean Wilder leads the inside, but the 24 the 9 going to get clear. They will drop right back down to the lead on the inside in front, going into turn number 3, lap 28. And again, now we are about 7 laps from that halfway point, so you continue to wonder, when are we going to see those pit stops? Can guys make it that far, or do we see them pit before then? And from the start of the race, we haven't seen, I don't want to say a ton of racing, because we've certainly seen that. We haven't seen a ton of aggression. But you can still tell that anybody that jumps up to that high line, that's the guys that are starting to experiment a little bit, starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with these cars, and starting to try to make some ground up, as the 69 and the 88, John Bell and DJ Madish going to try to start getting it going again here down the back straightaway. You can see, though, it looks like it's just really hard for a lot of these guys to get to the bumper of the car that they're pushing, as Kenneth Redinger was able to do it right there. But the 69, DJ Madish, has not been able to get linked up with the 88, who's just behind him. So they're just kind of holding there, not really making much progress. No gain or losses. Looks like Larry Dickerson in the chat from NSRA says, "What's up? Good to see you, Larry. Glad that you're tuning out tonight." And one of the guys that we will go get to see for the final race on Sunday. Hope you're doing well, Larry. Can appreciate you coming out here to check us out for a little bit. Taking another cockpit view here. Looks like these guys are going to maybe find their first lapper of the night. And unfortunately for Brianna Laurent fan, that is going to be her, as she is on the back straightaway as the field roars off of turn number 2. And the good news here is if she tags onto the back of the pack, she won't have to worry about losing another lap, and she's currently the only one being scored a lap down. So if we get a caution, she would be in that lucky dog spot. But this is where things are going to get a little bit sketchy right here, as they're going to have to go around her 3 wide for a moment. Daytona, a little bit tighter than Talladega, so everybody needs to hold a nice steady wheel right here. Let's see if they all make it through okay. So far, so good, as John Bell is going to dip extra low. Ooh, looks like she makes a little bit of contact with the outside wall. She's okay. She drops back down just behind Zach Stevens. And Joey Hickox will go around. So she's got to catch onto the pack right here, though. If she doesn't, then she's going to potentially lose it again. And next up on the list now is going to be Sam Boutwell, and he is not much further ahead of your leader right now. It's probably about half a back straightaway. Speaking of leaders, how about Justin Parham? It seems like it has either been him or Kenneth Redinger about 80% of the time that we have went to look at who is leading this race here tonight. But Sean Wilder has been showing a lot of speed. Chase Greer has been experimenting a little bit, gone to the back, came back to the front, back in front again. And here he is, in total up 13 positions from where he started this race at. When we talk about DJ Madish and John Bell here, we've talked about them a couple times because they seem to be the two guys that are really trying everything to get this outside line going, and there's a reason for that. Those two are teammates, you see, for high-octane racing. But it looks like they have finally had enough, as they'll drop down. Haas Beverly now going to try his luck. Looks like further back, DJ Madish may also jump up as well. And we're going to be coming to lap 33. So, man, I was wondering for a second if Sam Boutwell was maybe going to be able to hang in front of this pack for a couple more laps, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So as these guys all go around, that'll send Boutwell to the back, and now him and Brianna are both going to be fighting for that lucky dog position. And unfortunately here, it looks like Brianna lost the pack again. So if Sam's able to hold on, then that will give it to him, assuming he doesn't get in a wreck. And going back, ooh, we almost saw our first 3 wide of the night, but it looked like maybe between a couple of teammates there, so I think they realized maybe that wasn't the best move to make, and now they're going to try again here. Matthew Fritz, I'm not sure if they're just washing up or they were trying to split. Haas Beverly, I'm kind of almost thinking they were maybe just washing up a little bit. But here you go, the 13 of John Lynch. Looks like he's thinking about it. Oh, almost some contact. They're going to go 3 wide here. The 88 duck into the apron. That's John Bell. They'll get around him without any further incident. Kenneth Redinger, second in line still up top. Haas Beverly trying to get a run, and we're going to be coming down to 2 laps to go here before the halfway point. So can Haas Beverly make anything happen? Still no more takers up to this point. But keep an eye on that bright green, white, and red car. Jay Stinson, I thought maybe he'd be the guy to jump up, maybe just in front of him. How about the 53 of Bill Hales? We talked about he's been doing a great job tonight. Now up 2 from where he started and running currently just outside the top 5. Still no move just yet. We'll see how long he decides to stay like that. Looking at the front, he's got a pretty cool looking paint scheme on as well. And here's the big run that we were waiting for. Haas Beverly was finally able to get to his back bumper, so here they go. They will stay tandemed up through turns 3 and 4. They will be coming to the white flag this time. And if you're Justin Parham, well, honestly, Parham or Redinger here, what are you thinking? Does somebody jump out? Does somebody make the block, or do you stay low and just hope that you can outpush the outside line? Sean Wilder looks like he is maybe giving it a thought, but he's going to not be able to give it any more than that because now the 53 has jumped up again in front of the 22. I thought maybe he found a way to get back down. Not the case. They have not been able to link up, though, since last time we saw them do so just over a lap ago. And so right now, it's not looking like they're going to have enough final time down the Daytona Superstretch here, coming to the halfway point. Parham with a healthy lead as Redinger, along with the 9, I think they set that up beautifully. They set that up so that they could tandem away from the field down the back and not even have to worry about it here at a 4. But unless Wilder's going to jump out, we're going to see some pit stops here. Right at the halfway mark, looks like your leader's going to come down, so it'll be a drag race for the win at the halfway point. It's going to go to, I believe, Chase Greer in the 8. It certainly looked that way. I think he got the job done right at the halfway point. Going back, talking about the pit stops here. It was an interesting time to pit because I don't know. I don't feel like these guys can make it another, what would be probably, 35 laps. If they can, they'd be good to get. There's just no way they're going to be able to. So we're going to expect at least one more green flag pit stop. However, I think the longer you can stay out here, the better it's going to help in the long run. It's Haas Beverly trying to find a spot to drop down in line. So is the 53 of Bill Hales. And here we go. The 8 of Chase Greer is going to lead them in. And a lot of lockups here. Again, everybody not used to these. Grant Turner gets in, I think, way too fast. Further back, the 14 spins, and yellow flag is out. I'm not sure what this one is for, but we've had trouble somewhere. Is that John Bell? I'll tell you what, I cannot really tell right now. He looks okay. And so you got to ask yourself, what drew the yellow? Not sure if it was the 14 of John Shileno spinning, but he was already onto the pits. So that almost makes me think that there had to have been something that we missed. And so here we go. We'll try to find a better angle. All right, so watch John Shileno there in the 14. He's taking the inside line. And again, talk about it. These cars, the guys aren't used to them. They're a little bit tougher to get into the pits and just gets in too hot, starts wheel hop in the rear and spins it out. Pretty much as simple as that, but that's not what brings out the caution. Or is it? And maybe it was. I wonder if this had something to do with it right here. To figure out who we just had coming off the pits. That's DJ Madish. You know, I wonder, did he maybe spin it out? Trying to get up to speed. Ooh, and I'm thinking there's a good chance maybe this was the caution right here. Yeah, it's certainly looking that way. And so here we go. He's coming out of the pits. He's all by himself. And it looks okay. Maybe we should go to the onboard cam for the first look. And just gets really bad wheel spin. He's trying to correct it and stay in the throttle, and unfortunately it just gets around too far on him, comes on the track, and stopped in the middle of the track. That's certainly a warranted ordeal for a caution. But a tough break for DJ Madish is trying to get back out and get up to speed, but a bit more horsepower on these than what we see in the next gens here at these plate tracks, I believe. So just not much he could do there. I'm assuming he probably did not take 4 tires, maybe take 2, but he's able to save it. Nobody hit him, so he'll get back rolling and should just have a good laugh after the race if he's able to get a good finish still. And this was during the yellow. Make sure there was no issue here. As Brianna Laurent, I think she's just going to be stopping here for the pace track. I think that's what that's going to be. And yep, sure enough, looks to be that way. See if we get another update on that in just a moment. But here we go, up front. It is going to be the 39 of Grant Turner in the lead. The 53 of Bill Hells just behind him. Matthew Fritz third. Joey Hickox fourth. Chase Greer in fifth with Jay Stinson in sixth. Zach Stevens seventh. Haas Beverly in eighth. Sean Wilder in ninth. And John Lynch currently rounding out your top 10. Take a quick look where we're going to head next. Doubleheader night for Ghost Racing Network. If you like watching us, then boy, you are in for a good one here tonight. After we're done with the NOMA Gen 6 Series here at Daytona, we are going to head right over to the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series for some money racing action. How about it? $20 entry, $200 guaranteed to the winner. 175 to second, 150 to third, 115 to fourth, 105th, and 106th. Practice for that race will start at 10 o'clock, and the race itself will start at 10:35. Make sure you don't miss out. It's going to be a fun one. All right, well, as everybody comes around here, should get the one to go. We are going to take another quick water break. We will be right back to continue our journey here in the season opener for the Gen 6 Cup Series. Stick with us. We'll be right back. Back live at Daytona International Speedway. Looks like we did not get the one to go signal, so these guys are going to make one more lap around as the lights. Looks like they do go off this time, so we'll go green next time. There's going to be a couple scoring issues and a couple guys coming back off the pits after topping off on fuel. Maybe taking some more tires. And remember, you do have 5 tire sets. Not all that important here at a track like Daytona or even when we go to Talladega, but you certainly want to take them if you have the option to. As you can see, we are now well over the halfway point through this race. Closing in here in just about a handful of laps on 25 to go. That's when, as a driver at least, I feel like it's kind of time to start getting up on the saddle and get ready to go to the front. Speaking of the front, it's Grant Turner and Joey Hickox. They're going to be lining up row number 1. Row 2, it'll be Chase Greer and Jay Stinson. Zach Stevens just behind them. So, man, I feel like Grant Turner, they've been kind of teaming up on him. It seems like just about all night. Hasn't caught much of a break. But he has still managed to stay at the front nonetheless through all of it, just as he is doing so far here tonight. Joey Hickox on the outside, though. I think he's about ready to go to the lead. He's tried a couple times tonight. Stayed back for a little bit after being involved in that first caution. We'll see what he can do here as looks like Super Skittles and a couple other people. Well, Mitchell Stevens, good to see you in here, says, let's go, Zach. Super Skittles says that the 69 spun, and that's what the yellow. Yeah, indeed, and that was exactly what it was. You saw the 69 of DJ Maddish go around. And so that is what ultimately led to our second caution of the night. Overall, though, how about it? These guys have been really clean, especially, again, being in a new series, trying to get a feel for it while also trying to make up track position. It's not an easy thing to do. But 30 laps to go when we cross the line right here. It's definitely getting right at that point. You got to get ready to start going as a driver. Joey looks like he's blinking around just a little bit again. And how about getting a lap back? Actually, no, she did not. Unfortunately, Brianna Laurent did not get her lap back, any of them. So now she's being scored 2 laps down. As you see him, looks like it lined her up 4th in line. Again, if she can hold right there, Sam Boutwell already got the lucky dog. She could get one back. Green flag back in the air, 30 laps to go at Daytona. Oh, big stack up out back. That's where things get tricky. Everybody's got to be careful. It looks like they all do. That's a result of that long single file line. Everybody topping off on fuel. And speaking of fuel, it's definitely a bit closer now, about 30 laps. I still don't think that anybody can quite make it that far, but any extra fuel could help. I think if we get a caution with, I bet 20, maybe 20 laps to go, 20 to 25. That's when they hit right about that fuel window, though. Meanwhile, up front, Grant Turner quickly able to get everybody tucked single file in line behind him as Chase Greer lines up second, Joey Hickox third, Jay Stinson fourth. And you got to wonder if that's indicative of a little bit of fuel saving. Haas Beverly, oh, big checkup. Wow, that was another close call right there for Haas Beverly as the 29 of Matthew Fritz had to lay on the brake to not make contact and send that 22 around. John Shileno, I think, saw that, and he immediately bailed out of line, didn't want any part of it. DJ Maddish, and man, look at the spread all the way out back. These guys must have got really, really disorganized off that restart. Looks like, unfortunately, Brianna Lauren has already lost the draft again. I'm wondering if she's got some damage. Sam Boutwell in 16th with John Bell. I think those two are potentially in danger of losing this draft, as well as they're trying to catch on to Justin Parham, who looks like he's maybe got a little bit of damage on the left front. Not so much. And I think he's going to be okay, but there's his two teammates up top, Kenneth Redinger and John Lynch. And they're trying to make some ground back to the front. First time that we're going to see two of the most aggressive pushers all night try to get this outside work in here. If Parham can get there, I think you're going to see this line roll in a hurry. Not that they really need him, though, because right now they are moving. Sean Wilder wants to go to the front. John Lynch, Kenneth Redinger said, I want to do the same, and they are still moving through the field as they work through 1 and 2. Now the question is, does anybody jump up, try to kill this momentum, and also maybe try to ride that high lane to the front? Doesn't look like anybody's going to do so just yet. Sean Wilder, though, still getting a really, really big push right now from John Lynch in the 13. Those two have been able to lock up a couple times. There goes Joey Hickox now. He's ready to go. And the one thing I will say is it seems like it's been a little bit easier to block runs in these cars than it is in the trucks, because as soon as you pull up, it seems like the run dies out really, really quick. And so that guy can't quite get to your bumper as quick as what we're used to seeing. But there you go, Sean Wilder doing a lot of pushing. Look what he does right there. Let's see if we can actually go on board. Man, he just did a perfect example of what I wanted to show with these cars. And that's when you push in the corner, sometimes you're going to offset a guy, and if you do, you want to make sure that you're offsetting to the right. If you offset to the left, that's when you're going to turn him, I think. So that was a good job right there by Sean Wilder, making sure that he could keep Joey Hickox going forward while also not turning him. And man, look at it. Look at the push down the straightaway into turn 3. He will draw even now with Chase Greer. They are almost at the front. A couple more laps, and we may see a new leader. And all this 2x2 action, I think that puts me in the mood for a little crank it up here at Daytona. First one of the season. Here we go. All right, and that'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up, as we're going to cover all the action now for the rest of the way, assuming no cautions. But right now, Kenneth Redinger still trying to get to the front. You saw successfully they were able to move a couple guys up there. More than just that, Joey Hickox took it, and then John Lynch took it. Now Sean Wilder's taking it. And before too long here, we might see Kenneth Redinger taking it. Look at the push from Justin Parham trying to get that 24 to surge all the way to the front. And, man, it was working, but now it's going to start to die out just a little bit. And that is because the 13 of John Lynch was able to get attached with Sean Wilder about halfway down the back. And you saw all of a sudden all that progress that the outside was making started to die out. So these guys are taking notes. They're figuring out how they're going to have to line these runs up. And the important run is going to be that final one that you make on the white flag lap. Is it a big enough of a run to get yourself to the front and try to win the season opener? Not just the season opener, but a win at Daytona at that. And there you go. Justin Parham and Kenneth Redinger back on point as they will jump to the bottom. And, man, when you have good teammates, you usually find out early on, because guys that are good working together at speed weeks, they usually end up being pretty good individually at non-speedways as well, and that's exactly what we see over in the NOMA Truck Series for Redinger and Parham. I think you're going to see that this season as well, but, man, everybody going to want to win that inaugural season championship, and it all starts here today at Daytona. Jay Stinson on the outside of DJ Madish, nowhere to go right now. He's trying to find a spot back in line, still nothing doing yet, nobody going with him either. So he'll have to stay in that position as, John Bell here. Looks like him and Sam Boutwell. I wonder if this was from the initial stack-up that we saw on the restart. Remember, we talked about a couple of these guys, said they needed to hurry up and get lined up. And unfortunately, as you see some damage down the right side of the 47, these guys have lost the draft by over 11 seconds. And so they are going to certainly need a caution. Then Brianna Laurent, currently in the trial. She's about half a track in front and still just not quite the season opening that she wanted. But again, first season in any of the NOMA series, and you see having a couple of internet difficulties there, so she's learning. And I think when we see her back out at Talladega, the next super speedway that we head to, we're going to see probably her up battling for the lead, at least at some point. You could tell she's going to have that aggressiveness when the time is right. 21 laps to go here at Daytona now as your leader. Still Kenneth Redinger, but how about the calm before the storm that we are seeing now, as just about everybody in this lead pack looking like they want to go single file, at least for the moment. Just as I say that, looks like DJ Madish, he'll jump out of line. Haas Beverly looks like he wants to dance, so he'll go out. Now he's going to actually drop the 69. He'll jump quickly back to the inside. Up front, there's Redinger. He'll barrel into turn 3, still with the lead. And the other issue that has not actually popped up tonight with these cars, at least nothing obvious that we've noticed, is any overheating issues. You certainly can get that in the trucks, even the Cup cars, the current Cup cars, that is, when these guys run really tight together. And don't get me wrong, we've seen a lot of pushing here tonight, but so far everybody been managing temps well. We have not seen any overheating issues up to this point. Taking a look at the speeds and weather again, still flying, and track temp has cooled down just about 2 degrees. Not going to make a big difference, but it will help a little bit, as somebody had a little bit of an issue back here, it looks like, as the packs got separated. And when they're single file, this is when they're going to run their fastest lap, so you've got to be on point no matter what position you are in. Because if you make any mistake here, maybe get kicked out of the train, you're going to have to go all the way to the back, and that's where you start to get nervous about if you're going to be able to hold on to the draft. But right now, everybody looking disorganized, just trying to get clumped back together. And so with 20 laps to go, now the question becomes, when do we expect a pit stop? Well, here we go. We're going to get our answer right here. Zach Stevens. And it looks like actually this is going to be all the Venom Racing guys are going to pit. Ooh, Grant Turner with a big lockup trying to save it. He's not going to do it. Grant Turner goes around into the inside wall. He'll get it back going. I don't think it'll do too much damage, but that is going to cost him all sorts of time, as it looks like Sam Boutwell and John Bell are going to bring it down for their final stop as well. And so this should be, I believe, just fuel only, especially based off when we went back green. And it looks like that is indeed going to be the case. Everybody taking enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. Now it will be a sprint to the finish for the guys at a pit. And there you see Grant Turner peeling out of his box. I still think he waited. Well, not waited, excuse me. I think that mistake is just going to cost him too much time. As here's your now 4 leaders working their way onto the Daytona front straightaway. And they have not decided to pit. Now, let me tell you something. This is a really, really fast group of cars here. These 4, and you see they've actually split from that second pack, and that second pack is over a second and a half back, so they're not actually pulling any draft right now. So that means that that second pack, they're going to have to run faster here and get within a second and a half if they want to catch this group. But right now, they're still fading, so man, this might be the strategy call right here. If you're any of these guys, stay out, keep pushing, run tight. And all of a sudden, when they make that last pit stop, they may find themselves enough ahead to make it a race just between themselves. As we go back here, take a look at this second pack. Looks like right now it's being led by Haas Beverly. John Shalino in second, and then third car in this pack is DJ Madish. Sam Boutwell still a lap down, but trying to see if he can help this group out at all. And I was wondering there if... No, they didn't. They just came out with the second group. And speaking of that group that already pit, Joey Hickox looks like he may have made a mistake. John Bell separated from his guy. Bill Hells looks like may have retired from the race. Not sure what happened to him. We'll get an update on that here in just a moment. But Grant Turner, Matthew Fritz, little separation between those two. Chase Greer is actually together, though, with the 29. And then here's Stinson and Zach Stevens. So all in all, not a great pit stop right there for Venom Racing. However, you see Brianna Laurent acting right as a bridge car for this second group. That's exactly what they needed as she blinks just a little bit, but they were able to pull a big draft off of her, and then as she pulls up, they're going to be able to go to the inside here. Now they'll have the draft of their teammates. That's going to be 4 cars, but they need to get linked together really quick, and this race looks like the strategy call is going to be a hard lesson for some of these guys that you might need to stay out longer, because getting organized after pit stop seems to be pretty tricky from what we've seen so far here tonight. And with 16 laps to go, starting to wind down on the end of it, you can tell intensity starting to ramp up in terms of it's go time. However, you got to make sure that you execute this last stop first. And with 3 teammates in this pack, and then Sean Water, we know how much talent he's got at Super Speedway. See him over in the NOMA SS League. I don't think he's too eager to make a move yet, so it looks like these guys will continue to just run it, probably until it runs out, and then make that final green flag stop. Again, I want to thank you all that have tuned out so far here tonight. If you like what you see, make sure you give us a like, follow, comment. Let me know that you're having a good time. And actually, more importantly than that, let me know how the audio sounds, race audio that is, if it's too loud, too quiet. As we go back and check in again, Zach Stevens right now leads Jay Stinson, Chase Greer, and Matthew Fritz. These 4 cars, they've gotten locked together, but now it just becomes a question of, can they put together better lap times? And if we actually go here all the way up to the back of this front pack, there's John Lynch. And so right now it looks like the gap between him and actually going all the way back here to Zach Stevens is about 40.3 seconds. So keep that in mind, and when this group gets ready to pit, we'll see if we can take a look, see if that's changed much at all. But 40.3, the gap right now is it's already extended a little bit, but that's because they were pulling some draft off of John Shilino there in the 14 machine. So Grant Turner, after making that mistake on the pit stop, did cost him, unfortunately, as looks like now he has lost a lap. And we've actually had quite a few guys that have lost a lap, so a lot of people really needing that caution. That's very likely at the end of these super speedway races, but nothing is guaranteed, and man, if they don't get one, this could put an end to quite a few nights and quite a few hopes at the beginning of a season. But good news for Turner right there. As you see, he's on the back of the lead lap. Him and Shilino both, though, going to be battling here, as it looks like Haas Beverly is going to go 2 laps down, so he'll be fighting as well. But if Grant Turner stays where he is at this moment and they were to get a caution, he would get the lucky dog and be right back on the lead lap. And that's important because DJ Madish, maybe with some issues right here, the 69 brought it down to the pits. But I wonder if he may have spun it out here. Let's take a look. And, ooh, man, Boutwell looks like maybe almost didn't. Wow, he came in there flying way too hot. Oh, my goodness. I mean, he wasn't even close to making pit road speed. Saw the big lockups. He went through the grass. Let's take one more look at that one. I still cannot get over how fast he was going. In fact, watch, we can't show the exact speed for replay, but take a listen. Yeah, I mean, he's not even close. I'm telling you, he was probably going. It's still at least 100 miles an hour. That was not even close. And another mistake getting onto the pits tonight is going to cost him big time. Here we go, though, your leaders. Justin Parham, Kenneth Redinger, Wilder, and Lynch all bring it down for their final stops, expecting fuel. Probably no tires right here. As, ooh, Lynch, overshoots it a bit. Oh, this is a big mistake from the 13. He's trying to get straight, but, oh, man, that is going to cost him all the time, and unfortunately it's going to cost him keeping with his teammates. Oh, that is such a big mistake right there. So DJ Madish with the penalty, still stuck on the pits. But John Lynch, who was doing everything right, it seemed like tonight, has now fallen off that lead pack, and that's going to hurt their numbers as well. As there's the second pack, you compare that to your leaders. Here comes Redinger, as he is just now up to speed, exiting the pits. Take a look at that group behind. There they are. They're going to have a lot of speed. They'll make up a decent amount of time here. Question's going to be, is it enough? So there you go. Watch that second group trying to catch your leaders right here, and they're still a little split up as well. I think they're going to get there. Zach Stevens, Jay Stinson, they've been pushing hard. Everybody else has been playing their role. So I think this group is going to get there. Keep a close eye. And so here we go. As we come off of turn 4, the gap still about 2.5 seconds. It looks like it's still closing, though, for the moment. Remember, they need to get down to about 1.5 seconds to get within draft range. But you got to wonder if that one car that this lead group is missing now, with John Lynch making the small mistake that he did on the pits, is going to cost them a chance at winning this. These guys have been pushing for a while. They've kind of gotten in a little bit more of a rhythm. In fact, let's hop on board here for just a moment, actually, with Zach Stevens and see what he's looking at right here. Holding a nice steady wheels, getting a big push right here from Jay Stinson. There you go. Jay gets the push he needs right there, though. That's where I think if you're Jay, I know he might be getting hot, but he's going to have to try to stay locked up. Stevens maybe trying to give him a little bit of air in the corner to help him cool down, but the longer that Jay can stay locked onto the back bumper, the more progress I think they're going to make, but they've got the gap down now to just about 1.7 seconds. They're getting close. If they can pick up 2 more tenths, they will be in drafting range, and Zach Stevens should start to pull on this front group. Nothing doing just yet. 10 laps to go at Daytona. Back up front, Kenneth Redinger doing all he can. This is going to help them a little bit, but in turn it might hurt them as they go around the 88 of John Bell. That's some extra draft. That'll actually help their lap time. But as they pull high, got to break a little bit more air. That'll slow them down. Now that second pack, they're going to get the pull. And actually, right here, John Bell may act as a little bit of a bridge car as he will also go a lap down. And so as it stands right now, looks like we have 5 cars that are not on the lead lap. And then Bill Hales, who was having a good night. Not sure what happened, but he is currently out of the race. May have been due to some sort of technical issue. And there you go, Zach Stevens. He has gotten within 1.5 seconds, and that is all thanks to the 88 of John Bell. Man, I'll tell you what, as a leader, that's what gets you so angry about lappers here at these super speedways is it's not really hard to get around it, but man, you catch them at these perfect spots, and that little bit of draft can make all the difference. And now that he's caught that, I mean, yeah, the 88 sitting in the draft, this is a done deal. The 33, they're going to get there. The question is going to be, what does he do when he gets there? And I think the easy answer to that is he's got to make the move. And you got to make it when you have the run, because they are not going to have a run like the one they will have when they get there for the rest of the race. And now what do they do with John Bell? Are they telling him, can he go high? Are they going to push him? How do they do this here? Looks like they're going to go high. Looks like Zach Stevens will get a little bit of a side draft. The 88, not much of a contest here. How quick can they jump back down to the inside? So you see him still forming up the run. The 88 holding even here is hindering that run just a little bit. Trying to pull as many teammates as they can. Clear Chase Greer, Matthew Fritz yet to do so. And there you see Joey Hickox in the 3. He's a lap down, but he's still sticking with his teammates. And right now, he could be fighting for the lucky dog if he can get around John Bell. So again, they continue to stay up, and now that they've drawn even with Parham, Zach Stevens, where did this run come from? Almost doing it by himself. It's only going to work, though, for so long as now the 33 starts to fade. But here comes the cavalry. Jay Stinson to the back bumper of Zach Stevens. That's a big push down the short chute into the tri-oval. And now the race is on, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. 7 laps to go. Inside versus outside. Which lane is going to be able to prevail? And man, the 88 of John Bell still not doing anything wrong. Again, he's got to stay there. He's got to fight because he's got a chance for the lucky dog, but really hindering the efforts of this group here that caught as they're trying to pull their 4th teammate, Joey Hickox, in front so that if they get a caution, he gets the lucky dog. But, man, they just can't quite seem to do it, and finally they're going to get there. And as they do so, we'll see if everybody jumps back down the line. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to reform, regroup this run, and they'll try to make a good one here this time around. Justin Parham, what does he do? Does he try to go up to block the run? Zach Stevens, there's the move. Does Jay Stinson follow, pulling a little bit more draft before he does? Now he's going to move up the track. 6 laps to go at Daytona. Outside versus inside. Venom versus, well, I was going to say just Spino, but Sean Wilder, the wild card in all this. What if he were to make the move right now? Doesn't look like he's going to. Oh, he washes up a little bit. Jay gets on his back bumper. He turns him. The 33 hard back into the outside wall as he gets into his teammates. Trying to save it. He's going to spin out to the inside. Him and John Bell both get involved. John Bell won't get the lucky dog is what I meant to say. Caution is out. And, oh, man, you knew it was coming at some point. And now this has completely changed the complexity of this race. Let's go back and take a look at it. All right, so here we go. So, I mean, that one's going to be pretty cut and dry. The question for me here is, what happens initially? So what we're going to do is take a look from the spotter view. And so watch the 91 there of Sean Wilder. He's on the inside line. I thought maybe he would make the move. Looks like he chose not to. But does he wash up, or is there like maybe a little bit of net code here? That doesn't look like he gets into him, that's for sure. Yeah, Wilder may be drifting up a little bit, but yeah, I kind of think maybe there's a little bit of net code right there between the right rear of Sean Wilder and the front left of Zach Stevens. So that sends Stevens up. And then Jay's trying to line him back up. Unfortunately, though, when he gets there for the push, he's just offset. Turns the 33 down into the 9 of Parham, who does a phenomenal job holding on to that thing. But then he gets back up into his teammate. That's a hard hit. Jay actually taking the brunt of that, acting as the cushion. And there you see Parham still trying to save it, but he does. And unfortunately, Stevens just gets a little behind on the steering, comes down. John Bell nowhere to go. So that's heavy damage. Well, maybe not too bad. Actually, I take that back. These cars have held up pretty well so far tonight. Everybody does have that one fast spare. Not sure if these things break quite as easy as the next gens, but all in all, damage-wise, yeah, not been too bad here tonight. We rewind this, take another look. I want to go on the cockpit view here for Zach Stevens. So I wonder if this will give us a little bit of a better insight. Watch his hands here. Let's see, do they move up or does it kind of bump him up? Yeah, he might have moved up. I think Stevens might have moved up thinking that they were getting a little too close for comfort. Then when he tries to come back down, as Jay tries to line him up, it just, unfortunately, does not quite work out in either guy's favor. If we go back all the way to the yellow flag for this one here, in fact, back this up even more right here. I still think Zach Stevens, I don't know if he's going to have to use a fast spare. Jay may have to. Man, it does not take much right there. These cars, they kind of stick to the bumpers, these and the next gens. When you get hooked, or I should say offset, they tend to almost stick together, and it's really hard to get off with somebody. That's exactly what it looked like happened there. Here we go. Take a couple more angles of this one. How about one from the TV static view? This is going to give us a pretty good look at this one. And man, the 33 almost saved it, and then John Bell just wrong place at the wrong time. Nothing he could do, but at the end of the day, brings out your third caution of the night and sets us up for a thriller of a finish that we are about to get. Kenneth Redinger continues to lead Sean Wilder in second, and you know what? We haven't got a chance to really talk to many, if any of these guys so far tonight, rather. Let's see if we can pull up. How about, I want to see if we can get Sean Wilder in here, and yep, sure enough, looks like he's in there. Let's see if we can get a quick word with the man running second. Hey, Sean, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Austin, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, so far, man, you're looking good here in your debut. You kind of almost look like you've been working with the SPINO Racing guys tonight, but do you try to play spoiler here at the end, or do you just stay conservative?
Well, if we'd have went green, I was going to push Kenneth all the way to the end there. Starting beside him, I might have a chance. We'll see if Matthew can help me stay out in front of these guys for a couple laps. Let's just hope we bring it home green, and in one piece, I'll be happy.
Yeah, it certainly would be a pretty good goal here at a track like Daytona. Now, we've seen you in the Super Speedway Series for the NOMA, of course. However, a little bit of a different car. We don't see this in many leagues. How's it felt so far tonight, and what's the biggest differences you've had to take away?
Oh, this car's a lot of fun. You can bump draft really hard. It's pretty solid. You got that big wing, so you can get a big run, and you can really do some side drafting, which makes it real fun to race.
All right, well, hey, I appreciate you giving us a couple quick words. Getting ready for that natural overtime. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if we're talking to you here at Victory Lane a little bit.
Sounds good. Thanks, Austin. Thanks for broadcasting, and enjoy the race, guys.
There you go. Hey, letting everybody know, make sure you tune in because he knows what's about to happen. I know what's about to happen. And that is a crazy finish. We see him all the time at tracks like Daytona and Talladega, and tonight is no different. So looking at the running order here for potentially the final restart of the race, it is indeed going to be Kenneth Redinger leading the way, leading us back to green, I guess I should say. Sean Wilder second, lining up in the lead on the outside. And they are both going to have two phenomenal pushers behind him. Row 2, Justin Parham and Matthew Fritz. How about the 8 of Chase Greer? And row 3 to his outside is John Lynch in the 13, who has got a ton of speed tonight. But after that mistake with the pit stop, he really needed this caution. He got it. And we will see what he can do here. The 39 of Grant Turner still inside the top 10 currently in 7th. John Shilino. What if he could somehow find a way to get the win here tonight? Zach Stevens and 9th. Sam Boutwell running out to your top 10. And it does look like, unfortunately for Joey Hickox fans, he was not able to get his lap back. Not sure if he had a 0X in that last caution or what happened, but yeah, he is still being scored a lap down, so he's hoping for another caution. But quick breakdown of the rules here for this. We're not in overtime, but it is a 2-lap shootout. So if we can make it around one time to the white flag, this race will be official, and we will race it all the way back to the checkered flag, and it is checkers or wreckers at that point. You'll see why here in just a moment. However, if we get a caution, then we will rack them up and try it again and go to what would be our first of 3 overtimes. Here we go. Season opener at Daytona International Speedway. Who is going to put their name in the record books for the NOMA Gen 6 Series? Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go. Great start from Kenneth Redinger. Maybe too good of a jump. Wilder on the outside. No help, though. Fritz is going to bail out. He goes to the inside. What can Sean Wilder do now? Nothing. And now you got to worry about this Parham jump up. Maybe try to steal one from his teammate. Nothing doing yet. The outside still fading in a hurry. I'm really confused why everyone jumped down so quickly. Lynch, though, he's ready to take a gamble. He'll stay up top. And remember, we have seen no 3 wide tonight, but I think we're getting ready to start seeing some now. Parham quickly now to the back bumper of his teammate, and the pushing is on. You've got temps to make it the rest of the way. You better use them. That's what it's going to take to stay out in front through 3 and 4. Everybody looking steady so far. The outside still trying to get linked up, but now that the inside gets organized, watch for a big run here. Matthew Fritz, no move yet. Keep an eye on the bright blue 29. Here we go. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go at Daytona. Down the short chute they go. Oh, we got one off out back. John Bell looks like he holds on. Up front, it's still Kenneth Redinger. Matthew Fritz, no move yet. And even further back, looks like Wilder jumped back in line to 13, getting everything he can right now from Grant Turner. There's just no progress to be made. Now we're going to see Wilder jump back to the high side. Chase Greer, though, not going to go with him. He will stay low. Wilder scrambling for any position he can get. 3 wide, Wilder falling in a hurry. Here we go, last time into turn 3. Matthew Fritz gearing up for one more run on the teammates. Can he do it? Contact between Lynch and Stevens, but out of 4. Parham still, what's he going to do? Fritz, no move yet. Now he jumps to the outside. He's got to run. It's not going to be enough. Kenneth Redinger wins the season opener at Daytona. And the man that we have seen get a championship in the Truck Series is looking like an early favorite here in the Gen 6 Series. What a race, and what a finish that these guys put on. Well, I'll tell you what, Fritz proved me wrong. He knew why he needed to jump down, and that is because that outside was just not going to be able to form up, at least not until the last second, as Fritz made a run at it. Margin of victory, 8/100ths of a second for Kenneth Redinger. But, man, if we were at Talladega, maybe a different outcome right there. Nonetheless, a good finish. Let's go back and take a look at this one here. As watch this coming out of 4. This is where he's going to make his move here. You see Fritz, he's lining up the run. He's waiting until he's got it, and he actually backed it up a little bit. There you go. The problem is he doesn't quite have help yet from his teammate Chase Greer. And so them not being locked up compared to the 2 guys on the bottom, those 2 teammates were definitely locked up. And there you go. As they come across the start-finish line, Kenneth Redinger gets a win, and boy, that is a big one. The 24 is going to be pleased with that. We'll get to hear from him here in just a moment as we go back live. Looks like all of the SPINO Racing drivers going to burn it down. And as he does so, take a look at your finishing results here for the night. Kenneth Redinger, just talked about it. He gets the win. It's Justin Parham who gets 2nd. Matthew Fritz in 3rd. Chase Greer brings home 4th. Zach Stevens in 5th. John Lynch in 6th. It's going to be John Shilino in 7th. Grant Turner 8th. Sam Boutwell in 9th. And Haas Beverly rounding out your top 10. Sean Wilder in 11th. Joey Hickox in 12th. John Bell in 13th. Jay Stinson DJ Madish back in 14th, Jay Stinson in 15th. Brianna Laurent brings home 16th, and rounding out the field tonight is Bill Hales. After a technical issue, looks like he is going to finish in 17th. And there you go, Kenneth Redinger is going to blow the motor, and well-deserved too. He had a phenomenal run here tonight, and that's not one of those ones where you say it's a late restart win. I mean, he dominated this race, and he shows you why he gets wins at tracks like Daytona. We're going to go get your top 3 for interviews. We will be right back. Stick with us at the World Center of Racing. All right, going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Venom Racing's Matthew Fritz. Hey, Matthew, this is also up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, hey, third place in a series debut, not too shabby. I'll tell you what, I thought you were going to make a run on him a little earlier than you did, but you tried to wait until out of 4. Do you feel like it was the right move, or do you wish you would have done something a little different?
It was hard to get drafting these cars. I haven't raced this car in 2 years, so it's kind of like a new learning experience for me. The side draft is really potent, and it's hard to get a good run. So I was hoping my teammate would get a good run. He gave me a good shot, but it just wasn't enough.
Well, new series. We knew that they were going to handle a little bit interesting at these super speedways. However, next week, no longer a super speedway. How you feeling?
I love Atlanta, so I'm excited for it, and I can't wait.
All right. Well, hey, appreciate you giving us a quick word. But before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
I got to shout out my teammates, Jay, Joey, Chase, and Zach. We work pretty well together. And sponsors, Manny Rays, and my mom's pet sitting business. And I'd like to thank you, Austin. You do a great job.
Well, thank you. And thank you for talking to us. We will see you next week in Atlanta. Congrats on the third place finish.
Thank you, Austin.
Now that'll bring us to your second place finisher, SPINO Racing. Pretty good night. It starts with Justin Parham. Justin, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Well, you seem to like super speedways. You were up front all night with your teammate Kenneth Redinger. Was there ever a thought in those last 2 laps of making a move, or was it committed to him the rest of the way?
No, we was pretty much just committed. Me and Kenneth, we always run pretty much nose to tail at these restrictor plate tracks. So whoever wants to be leading towards the end is usually who's going to try to get the win. We usually don't try to leave each other out to hang on them.
Well, I think it's got to be the topic of the day to ask. I mean, new car, we don't see these race that much more in iRacing. I personally loved watching them, and a different feel from what we see over in the truck series at a track like Daytona. How'd that affect you tonight, and how were you ultimately able to learn what you did and keep your teammate out in front for so long?
Yeah, I ain't been in this car in quite a few years, so it was a little bit of a learning curve, just trying to figure out exactly how they draft compared to the other vehicles we drive. Especially with that side draft, somebody gets to your right rear and it's like you slam on your brakes. So just having to try to learn all the ins and outs for this car, but was able to learn what we needed to come away with the win.
Well, congrats on the second place finish, and of course the team win there. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just the team for putting everything on every week and letting us run, especially starting up this new series right here. I believe it's going to be a fun little season. And, of course, y'all for everything y'all do up in the booth.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us, and we will see you next week at Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
And now that will lead us to your winner tonight. We talked about it, won a Truck Series championship, and now he has won the first Gen 6 Series for NOMA. Kenneth Redinger. Kenneth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Well, just talk to your teammate. He felt pretty good about tonight. You look just as dominant. You come home with the win. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was a good race. Learning took a little while there to learn in the draft with this car because we haven't ran this car here or this car period, especially in the draft. And it was just amazing how much side draft they had. And I guess that spoiler is punching a big hole in the air, and the draft was pretty crazy. So just trying to learn that and manage that through the race, and then use that to your advantage to get to the front.
Well, you come to a new team. You still got your wingman, Justin Parham, but you pick up a new guy, of course, in John Lynch. You guys all together looked really good here tonight. Was there some practice and pre-planning for this, or is that just one of those things where the team chemistry clicks at tracks like super speedways?
Oh, no, we didn't do any practice. I knew we would work pretty good together, so it was no-brainer when he asked we got together about joining together and
Well, next
Worked
week,
out kind of how I expected it. So
yeah, it certainly looked that way. Last thing I want to ask you about, I didn't mean to cut you off right there, but we go to Atlanta. We know how good you've been in the Truck Series, of course, the NOMA Truck Series at tracks that aren't super speedways. How you feeling about your chances to go back to back?
pretty good. I think I like it when the cars are more difficult to drive. And I think this series is going to be closer to what the ARCA is compared to the truck. So.
All right. Well, before we let you head out here tonight, is anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Just thank Jay and Joey for setting this new league up for us to run while we're on the off season for the other series, and thanks to John Lynch for teaming up with us.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the win, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that is just about going to wrap up the coverage for the Blue Ridge Auto 175 here tonight at Daytona International Speedway. It was a good one. I cannot wait to see what we have in store next week at Atlanta. Make sure you tune in. Don't miss out. Hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I'm Austin Green, and until next time, have a good night.